Hey, Julie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there.
I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you. How is everything progressing with the beer?
The pink boots one. I briefly talked to Amethyst after our call with you, and she was sort of taking it from there. Rachel was on vacation. She's the one that works for Duflaw.
Okay.
So I don't have an update from them yet.
All right. Well, keep me posted. I'm curious to see how things go.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with a bit of that myself today. I was contacted by Tired Hands to help them possibly with some marketing stuff, and they have been in quite a lot of hot water over
Oh,
this
wow.
past year. So I'm kind of like, well, we'll just see. I don't know. I'm curious to see what else they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
like to get updates from people. I'm curious if Duclaw has ever had somebody ask about some of those beer names, or if nobody's said anything ever. I don't know.
No, I've never heard that they've had issues, but that doesn't mean they haven't.
Yeah,
We had
true.
the more higher profile stuff, like with Union here in Baltimore. So everybody heard about the issues that Union was having. Um, but I've never heard anything about Duflaw.
Okay.
See,
Yeah, I'm not too, I mean, I know of them by name. I can't get the beer here, so I'm not like super familiar, but I do know the brand has been around for quite a while, you know? So, um, yeah, I don't know, we'll see, but I'm excited about any Pink Boots beer. I'm happy that that's happening.
yeah,
Um,
it's fine.
yeah, we couldn't make it happen this year for the Denver chapter. We did one. Emily did one at Blue Moon because she brews there, and she made one kind of, I don't want to say solo, but everybody was social distancing at the time. So she kind of just had to do it on our own. And we all like chimed in virtually as,
Oh,
as
really?
much as we could. And then there were, a handful of other breweries that did their own versions, but we never had like an official collaboration brew day event like normal. It just felt weird this
Oh,
year.
well, hopefully next year you can.
I hope so. We've we did the hop rub in person, which was nice. We
Yeah.
hadn't done that since 2019, so that was nice to get together with everybody and vote on everything. um I don't know anything about hops, and my blend got selected from our chapter.
Oh, really?
I don't
You
know.
won the thing?
No, I mean, it's our blend is like in the final um voting thing, but I don't know. I can kind of guess which one is mine, but it looks like a little bit different than what we had. I don't know. So somebody else might have had something close, but you know what I mean? Like like the chapter names aren't on there. It's just like blend A, blend B, blend C, So, but I got all excited. I came home and I told my husband, I was like, I don't know anything about hops. My hops blend got selected. I was like,
Do you know which blend is yours, A, B, or C? Because we
I
did
don't
it too.
know. I can't to be honest with you, I'd have to go back and look at the ratios to see which one matches up with mine. But Emily reached out to me the other day and she was like, hey, our blend is in the running. And I was like, oh, cool.
I'll be interested to see if you win. We had sort of a hot debate between two of them.
Yeah, we were going back and forth between, there were a lot of people that wanted to pick something very like mild, just very sort of like, I don't want to say vanilla, like across the board, so that you could kind of play with the styles, that it was like easily
Or,
translatable into other styles rather than just like an IPA again, So, and then the other half of the group was like, no, we need to make something like bold and juicy and, all that kind of stuff. So we had sort of a split room, and then we ended up voting on it. And but I'm just surprised because I'm an outlier. I don't like hazy IPAs are not, I'm not like a super fan of those. And I think I'm like one of the few people on the planet that I hate mosaic hops. Like people just throw things at me because
Really?
yeah, I don't like mosaic. But at least I know that, I'm very clear about like, okay, if it has a bunch of mosaic in it, I'm probably not going to like it, and I'm probably not going to have a good experience with it. So at least I know that ahead of time.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know enough about hops to know which flavor profiles I like and which ones I don't. I shouldn't say I don't know anything about hops. I know enough to get by.
It was nice to have some of the lesser known hops to sample and choose from. So that was nice.
I think our dominant strain was one of the experimental ones that just had a number that didn't even have like I think it was like HBC like 346 or something like that. Like I don't know, all of us thought it was we had, let's see, that was the dominant one that we went with a little bit of like Simcoe, and then a tiny bit of what's the name of that one? Is it Laurel?
Laurel, I was
Very
going to say that.
strong. Yeah,
Yeah.
very strong. Like you had to be very careful. We had to pull it back quite a bit because we like tossed some in there to see how it smelled, and we were like, it got very, very overwhelming very quickly. But yeah, so that's what we ran with. But what's interesting is that we have quite a few distillers in our chapter now, which is very cool.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a few women that work for distilleries here. And so their gears started turning of like, how can we get involved? How can we use this? The cider women were like trying to think of what they could do with things. And,
That's awesome.
it's kind of interesting. We're also lucky enough to have Catherine Vila from, who's Keith Vila's daughter from Saria Brewing, that they do the CBD
Oh, gotcha.
beverages. And she was like, oh, what could we do with this? Like this, so we'll see what happens next year. I'm super excited about it. We'll see what it gets turned into.
Yeah. It was great that they let all the chapters do that.
I know. I think so too. I think the mailing of the kits was great. I'm glad that they were able to do that for everybody, and get it together so quickly because it kind of happened like very fast. So
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. I will stop chit-chatting. Hi, Joel.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, thanks.
Good. Let's see. Tracy, welcome. All right. Usually people start popping in at like, I don't know why people are like later than normal. Maybe it's just the time of year. Plus people have Zoom burnout. Usually more people jump in here at like 10 or 15 after. So, but I'm recording so they can catch up. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into things so that we can get started. So thank you for being flexible about the date. I had so many people request that we move this one up because of time constraints in the market. Like people wanted to be able to, take advantage of timing to get things activated in October. So I was like, oh, well, all right, let's just throw this together and we'll do 2 in September. Just as an update, we're going to move everything up. So our this was supposed to be our October content. November was supposed to be email marketing. We're going to do that in October. And then social media advertising was supposed to be in December. We're going to move that up to November. And then we're going to use December as like a catch-all, just as like a sounding board for anybody that needs help at the end of the year. Plus it'll be less stressful with holidays and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. Can everybody see my screen? Hopefully. We're going to talk about solutions for slow winter sales. I'm going to try to blaze through this because I feel like I haven't been leaving enough time for questions. So let's get right into things. These are the issues that we're facing. You know my style by now. We've been doing this for almost a year. I always like to address like what's wrong and then what we can do to fix it, right? We don't need to hang out here too long, but I think everybody knows the way the alcohol market is, the bell curve is coming, right? We all know what's happening. We're still riding the wave of like nice weather right now, but depending on where you live, excuse me, we're going to get into the colder seasons. Patios will start shuttering up. Festivals kind of dwindle away. People stop going out as much just because it's cold. And then when we get into the dead of winter, things kind of really drop off. We do get a boost from the holidays, which is nice, but if you don't plan it ahead of time, it's kind of a lost opportunity. So getting ahead of it is the best thing to do. We're going to have reduced capacity anyways in cold weather. People have been firing off data at me lately, and they're like, Julie, but Nielsen is saying that, on-premise volume is up, and you keep saying that on-premise volume is down. And I'm like, well, it's still down compared to old numbers. And we are getting a boost right now because of football season, which is great. But when that novelty kind of dwindles a little bit, and you have to understand a lot of that is driven by big craft, not like small craft, right? So you're getting a little bit of a spike. The volume is not really there compared to 2019. It looks awesome compared to 2020 because nothing was happening, so just don't be fooled by the data numbers. Just make sure you're reading the whole article, whatever you're looking at. But we still don't know what's going to happen. The epidemic numbers that I've seen says that we're close to a peak on the Delta variant, which is great. The problem is hospitalizations and daily deaths. I hate to say this. I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm just saying there's less people out there drinking because there's sick people, like regardless of where you live or what your policies are. So just be aware that the volume is going to be impacted anyways during the rest of Q3, all of Q4, and then part of Q1 for 2022. If you're working with distributors, they're going to go into the deadly OND mode, that October, November, December mode, which is like, shut down central. They start doing ABP meetings. They start doing annual planning. The majority of my distributors in the past, my distributor partners that I worked with, they were like, we're not doing sales pushes. We're not doing incentives. If you didn't have it planned already, we're not doing it. We're not doing ride with days. We're not doing work with days. We're not doing anything extra for all of Q4. So good luck. So just be aware of that if you're working in wholesale with wholesale partners. Off-premise is still looking good, but we're facing tough comps still from pantry loading. So just be aware of that. It's not that off-premise is doing badly right now. It's just year over year comparisons to when people were still like loading up and off-premise has been really, really strong. It's going to look funky for a little while longer. And then finally, on-premise sales, like I said, they're not quite back to normal. They're getting there. We're slowly but surely getting there, but not quite back to normal. So let's talk about mitigation strategies that we know. First of all, we know this is coming. Anticipation is one of the best tools that you can have on your side, right? The people that don't acknowledge that there's a slowdown coming, that's a big problem. So this happens every year. You know what it looks like. You know what this market cycles as. Know your numbers, right? Don't compare to other brands. There's no point in doing that. Every brand is unique. You need to know your historical numbers over the past, I would go all the way back like 3 or 4 years, honestly. But make sure that everybody knows your numbers. I don't know if anybody else went to the open book management session at CBC or heard something about that. There's a really good book called Open Book Management. It's pretty progressive, but it's basically you run your organization where everything is open. So it empowers all of your employees to know like everybody's salary, what you're actually making, the revenue that's coming in, what the cost of goods are, all that kind of stuff. And the theory is that the more transparency that you have in your organization, the more it empowers your employees to actually have like a better sense of pride in their work and know that it makes them feel like part of ownership. instead of doing like top down, pecking order management. Just a side note, that's a really good book if anybody wants to read it. But knowing your numbers is a huge part of the battle, because you want to make sure that things are still increasing. They might be less volume than what you normally do. They might be a little bit less revenue, but you want to make sure that things are actually going in the right direction instead of the wrong direction. And give yourself some benchmarks, and give every team some benchmarks. Like, set some quarterly goals for your marketing team, set some quarterly goals for your sales team, set some quarterly goals for your production team. Whoever it might be, even your finance and admin team. Maybe you have goals to improve like HR concepts, things like that, right? The next thing is to utilize digital sales to shift your geographic focus. What this means is that I would say, probably, if you had asked the alcohol industry a couple years ago about e-commerce, you probably would have gotten laughed at. And now I would say the majority of everybody in the craft beverage space is using some form of e-commerce. What this means is that if you have the ability to digitally sell products or merchandise or anything that would be an additional income stream in an area of the world, wherever it is, that isn't quite so damn cold, then go ahead and do it, right? Or if you can focus your digital marketing efforts, say you're doing like Facebook or Instagram ads, like, can you focus the attention to, area, I hate to say this, but areas like Florida and, California and places like that don't have as rough winters, to kind of, put some pep in your step as far as like retail sales go. And you can do the same thing if you have a large sales team, but mostly digital. So if you have retailers, that would be amping up digital marketing. And this kind of segues into the next bullet point, so I'll just roll it into that as well. But really focusing on optimizing digital marketing channels and e-commerce during this time, because the more you can avoid the all my eggs are in one basket situation, the better. We all learned that lesson last year. So just don't do it again. Diversify, cast a bigger geographical net, the more sales you're going to get, right? Now is the time to not cut your marketing budget. Now is the time to actually increase your marketing budget. This would be the time that you would invest in digital advertising if you're not already doing it. Look at your PPC, right? Look at Google Ads. Look at your Google My Business listing, which is totally free, by the way. Juice that Google My Business function as much as you can. Did you know you can put updates in there like you can for social media? And when somebody, the Google My Business page, and it comes up with like your website, then it has like a little blurb and a map and all that kind of stuff. If you use the update button, it will show a feed like your social media. So you get like bonus digital marketing, and it's totally free to do it. So go to your business dashboard on Google My Business and utilize the very hidden updates button, and you can actually put updates in there. So like put photos in there, put photos of the tap room or the tasting room, like put food features and beer photos and, all of the things. Anything can help, honestly. That goes hand in hand with doubling down on social media. If you're not batch planning, please start batch planning. If you don't have a content calendar, please make a content calendar or an editorial calendar. Start boosting your SEO. Get some content out there, videos, blog articles, other articles from other people. Put some backlinks into your website. Start building your keywords, right? Making sure you have keywords all over the place. Start tracking your website on Google Analytics, right? Making sure that you have, social media like the Facebook pixel embedded in your website on all the pages. Make sure you have Google Analytics set up. If you know how to use that dashboard, awesome. But also use the time to improve your content and engage with your fans, because the more you can establish like a human personal aspect to this, the better in the downtime, right? So they think of you more often during the slow season. Recognize and reward your best customers. So this has two different facets to it, right? So this could be your direct customers, right? That come into your tap room or tasting room, or that buy things at the store. This could also be your retail customers. So it could be your best retail accounts. It could be your key accounts, things like that. So making sure that you're utilizing those. We're going to go through some of these in more detail here in a second. And promote your most profitable products, right? Why not? What are you making the best margins on, right? Do a SKU analysis and see, what has the best margins for you, right? Like figure out what's costing you the least amount of money to make, but that's selling really well. And I don't want to tell you again, don't do the all my eggs in one basket method, but start promoting those profitable products a little bit more. The hard part is, this is the catch. It's a catch 22. For most of us, it's draft beer, right? Most of the time it's like, okay, draft beer is most profitable. It's the easiest to make. I'm making the biggest margins on that. It might be a different keg size. Maybe you're shifting to focus on selling different keg sizes. It is very, very hard to add new draft accounts right now. And it's hard to see the volume as well in your current accounts. So you kind of have to find a balance and really, if you have a sales team, play on their strengths as much as possible. Are they great at, putting together promotions and boosting volume, just like in short bursts that you could take advantage of that and really leverage that for the rest of the winter? Or are they, really great at adding accounts or doing cold calls and expanding into different market territories that you didn't think about before? Maybe you need to make a big prospecting list from your alcohol board. Every alcohol governing body has a free like Excel spreadsheet that you can download of everybody in your state that has a license. So regardless of whether or not you have access to a fancy data system, everyone has access to a prospecting list of everyone that has a license. You just have to be crafty about it. Upload it into Excel, Google Sheets, whatever, start using the filtering function and filter it for the people that represent your best customers. Think about it. Like, is it sports bars? Is it special events? Is it concessionaires? Is it C-stores? Don't get me started on my C-store soapbox because I'll talk about that all day about the convenience channel. If you're not focusing on that right now, you're missing out big time. You're going to be behind the curve. Is it mom and pop liquor stores? Is it small grocery? Is it warehouse clubs? Just dig in there, find out who your best customers are, and then leverage that for prospecting for new accounts and expanding your markets where you can. All right. And then finally, utilizing your network. So this kind of ties in well to recognizing your best customers, but also recognize your community, leverage your community, right? Like everybody struggles during this time of year. There's very few industry segments that are like, woohoo, we do, restaurants do really well actually during the holidays because usually they have a lot of events. They do like special events and catering and things like that. Take notice of that. Like see who you could partner up with. Can you be the alcohol provider for their catering events? Can you provide, this is not legal in all states, by the way, so it just depends on where you are, where you function. You'll have to look into the local regulations. I always talk about this little burger place that's like right up the street from my house. They have a food truck that goes all over like the Denver metro area, and they're allowed to sell beer. So one of the local breweries here went to them and was like, hey, can we be your exclusive craft beer for the food truck? And they were like, sure. No one else talked to us about that. So literally the whole food truck menu is only beer from this certain brewery. So just jump on top of it if you can, things like that. Also, focusing on community events. People are very giving during the holidays. So cross promotions with like charities, fundraising organizations, things like that. And then finally, we're going to talk about building a new sales and marketing box, which is kind of like my random guerrilla marketing ideas at the end of the presentation. We'll just go through like random tactics that I've seen that have worked really well in the past. So I'm not going to expand on all of these because we don't have time, but I expanded on the ones that I really want people to focus on. E-commerce, I can't say this enough. E-commerce. find out what your, first of all, find out what your local regulations are. They have changed quite a bit across multiple states. So if you couldn't ship alcohol in the past, you might be able to now. Or if you can't deliver yourself, but if you're selling in retail and one of your retailers can deliver or ship product out, then go through them, right? There's different, DTC gets very confusing, very confusing, because it could be just an online ordering system where people go to your website, they order alcohol, and then they come by your facility to pick it up. It could be they go online, they order alcohol, it gets shipped to you or to somebody else, right? It could be a third-party delivery system, right? Like Bev, Halftime Beverage, Beer Drop, Beer Me, Mini Bar, Bottle Caps. There's like a million of them now, right? It could be one of those, depending on what state you're in, which is they either supply the shipping material, they take the orders, but they supply you with the compliant shipping materials and you ship them out, or they do everything for you. Sometimes you can not ship in your own state, but ship to other states, which is really weird. Or sometimes you can ship within your state, but you can't ship out of state. So just check your alcoholic beverage authority, LED, ABC board, you know, whatever it is. There have been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of amendments, and just make sure to also double check the TTB website as well, because they are adding things as we move along. I can tell you right now, I'm sure everybody's familiar with these like beer festivals or alcohol festivals that are going on where they ship the beer boxes or like the cider boxes or whatever it is, right? And it's like multiple products and it can basically go anywhere. That is a loophole. That is a current loophole that is not regulated currently by the TTB, and the TTB can't keep up with it. They literally can't keep up with technology. No one knows what is going on with these festival boxes. I'm not telling you to cheat the system, but if you can move some volume during the winter before somebody cracks down on this, knock yourself out. You didn't hear me say that. I shouldn't be recording this. But you know, it's, let me actually, hang on one second. I'm checking to make sure I am recording this for the people that are not here. I am. Okay. That's a gray area right now that literally there's just not enough bodies at the TTB to regulate how these boxes are going out and the retailers that are selling them and all that kind of stuff. So just know I don't have an answer for that. I'm pretty sure it's illegal. I'm sure it's a lot illegal, but you know, it's one of those people aren't really looking at that right now because there's a lot of other junk going on that's taking priority. So up here in the left-hand corner, that's, I never know how to say this, Tavor, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know, Tavor. Great outlet. If you want to give it a shot, it's nice for little bursts of volume here and there. Another one is the Brew Pipeline. So they've got an interesting business model as well in that, let's see. Okay, this down here. So this is a program called Guest Brewer from Brew Pipeline. And this company is kind of an all-in-one like distribution, sort of a broker situation, which is kind of hard to describe. But basically, they help to manage distribution for you. It's not cheap, by the way, but it could possibly get you into other areas of the country where you're not selling beer and you don't have to worry about a distribution contract. So what they do is they go out for you and find different distributors that will do temporary distribution agreements that only last for like, I don't know, 60 days or 90 days or something. And they set up all the paperwork and you basically get to drop in, let's say, a couple pallets of cider or seltzer or whatever it might be, but you're not necessarily officially distributing in that state. For anybody who is familiar with WeldWorks out of Colorado, they do this quite often. I think Modern Times does this as well. There's a couple of people that utilize this, but if you could drop some big volume drops in different places where you don't normally distribute, it's kind of a bonus, so that's something to look into. I love Arrived. I don't get paid to say that. I wish that they paid me to say that. They don't. I just really like their products, and I like their customer service. I like their online portal. I think it's easy to use. It's customer friendly. It has a decent user experience. This is, which one is this? I believe this is GoPuff. I don't know how many people have GoPuff on their radar, but you should. This is a really interesting business model. I am fascinated by this. If you don't already know, GoPuff is kind of like Uber Eats, but it's known as like the Uber Eats for stoners, where like you can order snacks and alcohol and like cigarettes and things. The thing is, this company is no joke. They're almost completely nationwide at this point. They just, I think they didn't buy out Bevmo on the West Coast, but they did purchase the company as like a direct partner. But they are like the leaders in alcohol delivery. What's cool about them is that they actually function as a retailer and not necessarily like a outside delivery service like Drizzly or Uber. So for anybody that's getting like VIP data or like LilyPad, you might see GoPuff come up on your radar because they're actually considered a retailer. And in VIP, it's listed under e-commerce, which is a whole new category that got thrown in there that I just noticed the other day. So keep your eye on this, see if they're in your area. They do great marketing, by the way, really good marketing opportunity. And this is Halftime Beverage. So the cool thing about Halftime, if you're able to utilize them, they do these like virtual events down here. You've got these like boxes. They do a lot of those. So that's another opportunity. You could create your own holiday. No one cares. People want to do fun stuff right now. Nobody wants to, people don't mind if it's like a real holiday. Okay, so let's dig into, there were a couple other things. Hang on, let me reference back to my notes before I move on from this. Stay on top of your local regulations. Make sure that you have an online ordering portal. I don't care if it's just for merchandise, right? You don't have to sell alcohol in your online shop. You could sell merch, you can sell gift cards. I have brewery clients that I work with that they sell condiments, they sell food products, they sell products from other local vendors through their website portal. Talking with my consumer hat on here, I love a good one-stop shop. So if you can carry other things in your facility, as long as you have the ability to do so, like it doesn't violate your type of permit or license or anything. When it gets into the dead of winter, if you can say like, hey, come by and get dinner, get some alcohol. Oh, by the way, we also have, I don't know, this is a bad example, but I think you get what I'm saying, like school supplies. We also have toilet paper. We have fresh produce. We saw this happen during the pandemic. People liked it. There's nothing wrong with it. So a lot of tap rooms became like a market plus a tap room or tasting room. So not only could you buy alcohol, but you could also buy other goods. And think about using, when I say like incorporate your community, think about like small business owners that have gift ideas for people. Can you carry them in your facility and cross promote each other and have people knock out like alcohol and Christmas shopping at the same time? It's awesome. And then stick it on your online store, right? The other thing is please,
My apologies.
oh, I'm not talking to you, Siri. Please stop answering me. All right. All right. Make curbside pickup easy, right? If you have, if you're selling alcohol online or whatever your pickup products are, make it easy. Mark some parking spots in your parking lot. I just heard at CBC last week, and I can't believe I didn't even think about this. This is like the simplest concept. You can get like a remote doorbell off of Amazon for like $30 and put a doorbell like on a sign for curbside pickup so that people know when you're there. You don't have to have fancy technology. Just get a $30 remote doorbell. If you want to get real fancy, you can get a Ring one. You can actually see the person They could, you can have them wave like, hey, I'm here for my pickup order. The other thing that I've seen too for curbside pickup is dock sales. So can you do like a mixed case special? Like that might be able to also help you load out some stuff from your facility that's like hanging out a little bit too long. Make it a mixed pack. People love mixed packs. If you can do that, like if the price points work, I don't want you like having a huge headache over price points, but if you can do like a flat, like dock sale, like case sale with a combo case mix pack, do that, get it out the door. Also merchandise packages. Can you bundle things? People love a good bundle things together. Bundle product, bundle non-alcohol products, bundle a gift card. People are looking to buy gifts this season. So if you can do that, also like the BOGO stuff, can you do volumes, right? Can you do like, buy one bundle, get one free, or buy a bundle of gift cards and get like a $20 gift card for yourself for free. But think about it in that sense so that people are drawn more to that. And you have, again, you're diversifying your streams of income. All right. Delivery, how many of your retailers, if you're selling in wholesale, how many people have delivery services from their facility, not from your facility, for theirs, right? I can't tell you how many liquor store websites I go onto randomly all the time, and there's no picture of products. I have no idea what I'm buying if I was to buy it. I will not put it in my cart if I can't see it and I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm getting into as a consumer. So any retail partner that you work with, not only does like your website need to be good, but their website needs to be great, right? And how do you do that? You make sure that you get them the marketing assets that they need, right? Do they have a mobile app? Do they do email marketing? What kind of social media do they do? Make sure that they have all the digital assets that they need to make your product look good on their website. So you're hitting people in both places, right? And please make sure you're not just sending them like a really boring picture of a can. For God's sakes, like send them, a picture of the product in an actual glass or being poured or something with ingredients around it. A website is flat. It can be dynamic, but I'm looking at a flat picture. This right here, I will tell you right now, like even just this little small thing is very helpful. This lets me know what the package looks like the big pack, but then it lets me know what the actual unit is that I'm getting into. So seeing even this, like as a growler, that's helpful for me because it's giving me information as a consumer to make a purchase decision. All right. The other things I had about that was making sure that you're arranging promotions for the slower months. Like go ahead and talk to your retailers in advance, see what they have going on for the slower winter months. Do they have any holiday displays that you can get on? Are they rewarding their loyalty club or membership club members? Can you cross promote with them through there? And can you boost digital marketing just like not on your end, but also on the retail end as well? So let's segue into that. Content marketing. This is a great time to jump into content marketing if you haven't done that already. What is content marketing? It's pieces of value that you're giving your direct consumers. It works with retailers as well. It works in B2B. So don't think that it doesn't. It actually enhances the whole sales pipeline because you're adding more value in that sales funnel. But it works especially well for direct consumers. And this can just be loaded into your website, into your social media. You can do all of this virtually. You don't have to kill yourself, right? So examples of content marketing. Do you have a winter seasonal that you can suggest that people buy? Can you also offer them suggested food pairings, right? Like when would you say it's like an imperial stout or something? When would you drink this imperial stout? Can you give them frames of reference for occasion drinking? Can you suggest what foods they should have? Can you give them a recipe for, I don't know, a devil's food chocolate cake that uses the imperial stout in it? Can you show them a picture of the bottle wrapped up as a gift for a neighbor? Things like that. Like it is I don't want to say it's sneaky sales, but it's kind of sneaky sales because you're highlighting a product that you want them to purchase, but you're giving them additional value items that are giving them those breadcrumbs towards a purchase decision. So it's a value exchange. Like it's a really great marriage, right? You're giving them pieces of value. They're going to buy something from you. That's a piece of value for you. That's really great sales. That's like a wonderful marriage of sales, right? So it could be a really cool social media post. It could be a great email with a learning concept, like how to taste imperial stouts. It could be what foods pair well with imperial stouts. It could be a video. It could be a virtual event. All of those are like value adds through content marketing. I will say this too, not only does it help you sell more product, but it boosts your SEO because you're utilizing keywords, you're utilizing backlinks, you're giving people ways to interact with your pieces of marketing materials. So it's going to ramp up action and your website is going to start to rank higher than it was before. So you're getting like a twofer with content marketing. Online advertising, definitely show up for my November talk on this. We will go through, this is the best bang for your buck. I don't care if you don't like social media. I don't care. If you're a small business owner, this is the type of advertising that you should be sinking a huge chunk of your marketing budget into. Why? Because it's hyper targeted. When you know how to do it and you know how to hone in on your target market, this is so incredibly effective. You just have to know some nuances to it. I'm going to give you all my fun secrets in November. It's going to be mind-blowing, I promise. All right, email marketing. You know, if you're here, you're probably here because of my emails, most likely. So you know how much I love email marketing. The reason I love email marketing and I tell people to do it, first of all, email is not dead. If people love your brand, they want to hear from you. You're not sending junk. It's a value exchange. If they don't want to hear from you, take them off your list. If you look on your email service provider and they haven't engaged with you in 6 months, delete them off of your list. Ask people to unsubscribe. Since the beginning of my business, I have taken over 2,000 people off of my email list. You know why? Because I don't want to bug people that don't want to hear from me. That's not a value exchange. That's pushy sales. I don't like pushy sales. No one should. That doesn't make any sense. It should be, I'm a consumer and I have wants and needs, and I want to hear from you because you match up with my wants and needs. And when that happens, they want to read your emails. Plus, you have to make them interesting, right? Again, think about it as content marketing. What am I giving them that's valuable and not just like a sales blast? What can I give them that will keep them engaged and coming back? What can I offer them? What do I need to sell that I can mention to them, but in a way that it makes sense for both of us? It has to be mutually beneficial, right? The other thing about email marketing is that if Zuckerberg pulls the plug on Facebook and Instagram, you have another way to reach your customers. You have a fallback. It's a pandemic plan B classic example, right? You have a fallback, right? So protect yourself, diversify your marketing just like you would diversify your income streams, and make sure that you have a backup. And that's email marketing. Here's another cool one, text message marketing. That is possible for breweries. You just have to kind of keep it simple. It's one of those KISS situations. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Don't go overboard with your texting services. If you have a bunch of regulars at your production facility or your tasting room, tap room, whatever it is, right, in your business, just ask people, would you want to get text messages from us? Like when we have a special release, or if there's a sale on something, or, on your birthday, just ask people. If they say yes, start doing text marketing. And it should be little. Like I got one the other day that just says, hey, Julie, XYZ Brewery has just released blah, blah, blah. Click here to get yours. And that was it. That's all it said. I'm fine with that. It's short, it's easy, it's to the point, it's not offensive. Some people do little video clips and things like that, but it doesn't have to be crazy. It's just another way for you to communicate with today's modern consumer that's short on time. website optimization. I'm not going to go through all of this, right? Because we did an entire section on website optimization and how you can optimize your website for sales. Just make sure it passes that grunt test, right? That on the like the hero section, when I first go to your website, I want to know who you are, what you do, and how I can buy it. The other one that you can do is show a random person your website and let them just like browse it for like 30 seconds to a minute, and then tell them to stop looking at it, and then ask them what you do and what you sell and see what they say. If they're sort of confused, then you have an optimization problem. You need to go back to the drawing board a little bit. So that's a good random person, or I'm going to grab my cousin or my neighbor or somebody that you can give them the little grunt test on your website. You can also do that when you're looking at mobile. Like if your website's set up and you feel good about it, but you're like, oh no, like what, is it any good on mobile? Show it to a random person on mobile. If they're like, the text is big and it's not loading and things are confusing and there's stuff popping up, you need to do a facelift. The last thing you want to do, that Donald Miller saying, like when you confuse, you lose, you lose customers when you confuse people with your marketing. And I'll tell you, oh geez, I'm going to forget where this statistic is from. It's something like 75% of consumers these days will go straight, like if they're even thinking about your brand at all, they go to social media first, they go to, I think it's Google second, and then they try your website third. And if they can't get the information that they need from those three avenues, like if you don't have updated stuff or links that actually work, they will literally just wipe you off the face of the planet and go to somebody else that has working digital marketing. So just please, please, please double down on this during the slow season and make sure that you can ride the success wave for all of next year. All right. If you are not using Google Analytics, please start doing so. It's confusing as hell. There's a bunch of great tutorials on YouTube. You can get them for free. I'm not kidding. Like this is, the one that I like is called Measure School. Totally free, 100% free. This adorable little guy on Measure School has like a bazillion videos for how to start tracking your marketing metrics better. And it's totally free to learn. You just have to, and the videos are not that long, honestly. You can do them in short little bursts. But Google Analytics is, it's great for tracking like what's working and what's not working. And it'll go across like email, social media, website, all that kind of stuff, paid social ads, paid like PPC, stuff like that. Right. The last thing I want to tell you is that you should probably be doing a marketing audit at the end of every year. And that's looking at like, what your best content was on email, or what posted best on social media, or the page on your website that is getting basically the most action, like where people are hanging out the most. And knowing those metrics on an annual basis. I mean, if you have a dedicated marketing person, knowing these quarterly would be great, but I know that's not possible all the time, but just making sure you're maximizing what's working and stop doing what's not working. I've got my lovely little Zoom thing up here, which, hang on, I'm going to stop this for just a second so I can get things realigned here. Okay, there we go. All right. These are some examples of digital marketing. So, you want a great example of a website, just go to Sierra Nevada. They've had a great website for decades. It's a really great example. It's wonderful. I know they have a huge marketing agency that does this, but just take some cues from like where the links are, what the content is, this passes the grunt test, right? Like they've got their tagline. I can interact with something right here. I know how to buy things. It hits all the major points. This is a screenshot from Fremont Brewery. Look how easy this is. Like, this is super easy for text message marketing, right? Doesn't have to be complicated. This is from Stowe. So I don't think Devin's on here today, but I love the marketing from Stowe Cider. But just showing people how to actually get stuff. It's like, it's the simplest thing ever, but it works. And this is actually something that we're seeing now with distributors, is that distributors now have like retailer portals. So if you are working with distributors, make sure that you're taking care of your digital marketing on the wholesaler side, making sure that they have the assets that they need to put it into these like retail only specific portals. All right. So maximizing your best customers. Again, this is like two-pronged, right? So you've got retail, you've got direct consumers. Retail, know your key accounts, know how they buy product, and leverage that as much as possible. Look at your classes of trade, look at trends for what they're buying, look at year over year trends for what they have bought in the past, maximize your opportunities. Look for SKU gaps, look at any unsold accounts that might have dropped off the key account list and see if you can regain them. You've really got to dig in strategically to your sales data to find these little tiny hidden opportunities, because right now I hate the term low hanging fruit, but this is what that is. This is what that management saying is being able to access your sales data in the wholesale channel and say, why did that person drop off the radar? Let's regain them, right? Why is this key account not ordering as much as they used to? Can I talk to them? Can I find out what's going on? But getting ahead of the curve, like a full quarter, is going to be helpful over the slow months. Make sure you're planning everything in advance. Nobody wants to deal with, oh, can we feature our winter beer the day before Christmas? Like, no, don't do that. Plan everything in advance. Map out the quarter four. I would encourage you to also map out quarter one as well for like promotions. If you can do tastings in your area, this is a great time of year to do demos and product tastings. Even if you have to hire like a third party company to help you do it, it's worth it. It's worth your time and effort and money. Customization, make sure you're not doing a blanket program for all your retailers. Retailers want specific programs for what fits their business model best. This is where your CRM comes in handy. What are my buying preferences? How do I like to run my store? How is my store laid out? What kind of displays can you put in? What kind of signage can you put in? Anything for point of sale, point of purchase, take advantage of it. Take advantage of the seasons. Like, the cider always sells better in the fall and winter than it does any other time of the year. My cider folks are going crazy right now. You know why? Because Halloween is coming up, Thanksgiving is coming up, Christmas and New Year's. Those are huge times for cider people. Why? Because they capitalize on the seasons, right? Okay, let's see, direct consumers. So, all right. Oh, before I leave retail, add points of distribution. It's really hard to add brand new accounts right now. So if you can wiggle into your key accounts and look for the gaps in their buying habits, or if you have SKU gaps in there, try to add PODs. I have to stop saying sneaky. It's a really smart way to squeeze in extra volume and extra revenue at the accounts that you're already doing well in, right? And then also look for lost placements and also look for competitor out of stocks. Everybody here knows right now that we're having supply chain issues. We also know that big macro brands are having supply chain issues. So if there's an empty slot, if there's an empty tap handle, if there's an empty spot on the shelf, take advantage of it. Don't name them by name, just suggestively sell that you could fulfill that with, reliable inventory. Okay, direct consumers, programming, loyalty programs, membership clubs, email lists. This is the time to do it. BOGOs or Beer It Forward, buy stuff now, get something in the future, right? All those situations work really well. Passport programs, if those are legal in your area. Special emails or text message specials for like the FOMO aspect. Social media contests, right? Or you could just go old school and send some direct mail to your best customers. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you don't do like huge campaigns that cost a whole bunch of money, right? This is something that I pulled up. Firestone Walker is so good at digital marketing. I cannot even tell you. They've already sold out of this. There is a wait list for their membership program for 2022. So if you want to look into this, the Brewmasters Collective, I know that's a big brewery. I get it, but it's the methods that they're using that work really well, right? That's what I want you to take away from that. Okay, utilizing your network. Again, can you cross promote with other businesses around you? Local is huge right now. Gen Z is 40% of spending power right now. What do they care about? Local and community, purpose-driven sales, right? Millennials, more diverse and purpose-driven than any other spending category except for Gen Z right now, right? Capitalize on that. Hone in on local, support small business, all that good stuff. See how you can help out your neighbors. See how you can help out your community, right? Form a pod with people for digital marketing. You know, who knows? Like, we all struggle with this. Let's align and I don't want to say struggle together, but succeed together and not struggle individually, right? Community-driven sales, so like fundraising, charities, working with great causes that increase sales and give back at the same time. Is there something going on in your locality that has something to do with travel? Is there a conference in town? Is there like a big holiday season? Is there like wedding season? Is there, you know, whatever it is, right? Get in good with your Chamber of Commerce, get in good with your visitors bureau, see if you can become like a recommended venue, talk to the people that have Airbnbs around you, put some free pint cards in their Airbnb locations. You'll get more butts in seats. And it's a simple way to do it. And it's a value add for the VRBO and Airbnb people, or even hotels. If you have a good relationship with hotels or resorts, it's a great way to get more foot traffic, which I know is a problem for a lot of people right now. Can you partner with some of your vendors or suppliers? Like look at your supply chain, see what they're doing to keep things going during slow winter sales. And then just talk to your regulars. Ask them what they want. Ask them what they need, right? Talk to your regular customers. It's market research. There's no better market research than somebody telling you exactly what they want. It's great. It's a great thing. Okay, so here's some fun stuff that I want to talk about that I have seen places do in the past that I think are kind of cool ideas. First of all, if you can do a mix pack, do it. It's just selling well right now. Large format mix pack. I don't care what's in there. Give it a theme. Have you seen that Bud Light seltzer? What is it, like sweater weather pack or something? I don't know. It's absurd. It's selling like hotcakes. I can't fault them for that because my sales and marketing brain is like genius. It's like a winter sweater pack, whatever. So if you can do something fun like that, that relates to your brand image, do it. Like that would be amazing, right? Joel, can you do a Saints pack? That would be, I don't know. Anyways, I was thinking about you. So cross-departmental features, if you're selling in retail, can you put alcohol in other places, right? For that like kind of impulse buy. And I've talked about this a lot before, the reason being because it works, right? So can you put it in the produce department? Can you put it in the gift wrap section? Because everybody's buying gift wrap. I know that sounds absurd, but they're there. Can you put it in the candy aisle? Can you put it in the bakery or the meat counter, wherever it is? The other thing is holidays. What are people doing for holidays? Can you do like gift packs? Can you do special releases? Can you do little merch bonuses? Can you do like a glass and a beer together? You know, just explore the different options, right? Market expansion. So this is something that was a big takeaway for me at CBC at one of the seminars, and it really, really sat with me. And that is, don't ignore the demographic areas around your facility or around your business because you think they're not a good fit for your brand. You don't know that. Don't make that assumption. There are bodegas on the south side of Denver that have high-end craft beer. I'm just saying, like, don't limit yourself. Yes, you should always look to where you should know who your best customers are with demographics, but don't let that limit you. You also need to look at psychographics. So like purchasing habits, taste preferences. Don't just be looking at like median income, things like that. There are areas of the market where you can expand to that you probably have never tried before. And at this point, we all need more volume. You might as well give it a shot. So, all right. Food, more food. Everybody is drinking while they're eating. Take advantage of food opportunities. Takeout, delivery, dinners, pairings, whatever it is, catering, food trucks, all that good stuff. Virtual events, those are not dead. You just have to do them right and make them interesting and make them short. Give people a grocery list, right? And then interact with them. Non-beverage sales. So what else are you selling? We talked about that a little bit before. Is it like honey? Is it ketchup? Is it mustard? Is it stuff that would be like in a market? There's a if anybody's heard of Hopewell Brewing, I think they're in Illinois. I want to say they're outside of Chicago or in Chicago. They've been doing this for a really long time and it took off completely. So they have like Hopewell Brewing, and then they also have Hopewell Market, and people just kind of use it as like a one-stop shop. Fresh merchandise. We know about merchandise, right? But make it outside of the box. Like, can you make mitten koozies? I've seen people do that, like logos with like, I'm drinking outside, I'm cold. I need a koozie and a mitten in the same time. They've also made like logoed hand warmers, blankets, umbrellas, little personal heaters, camping gear, all that kind of stuff. And then again, diversified streams of income. Another thing that we're seeing now, which is a new concept, is contract brewing in all different shapes or forms, right? You could also do distilling as well. Do you have extra space that you could let somebody borrow for an extra stream of income? Could you give somebody some guest taps, right? In your tap room, like an up and coming, production team or brand, whatever. Like it's, could you contract out some of your products at another facility on the other side of the United States? So, and then also thinking about not just being like a beer company or a cider company or a seltzer company, but embracing the fact that most of us are going into the area of being a beverage company more than anything else. So are you good at doing something else? Are you good at making something else? Could it be a root beer? Could it be a soda, a CBD beverage, whatever it is, just different options for that. So, okay, 10:02. I tried to run as short as possible, but does anybody have questions before I take off? No?
Really helpful though. Thank you.
I hope this was helpful. Joel, are you good? You feel good?
Yeah, it's a lot of process, but a lot of good stuff. I
Okay,
appreciate you putting it all together, and it's good coming back to this recording and kind of taking it piece by piece.
cool. Well, let me know if you all
Yes.
need anything, and I'll upload the recording to the group and I'll upload the slides, and then yeah, if anybody wants to register for that Drizzly webinar today, they're going over holiday ideas for holiday sales. That was a total coincidence, but the link is in the group like activity feed, and they'll send you the recording if you can't go live, because I think it's like here in just a second. So, or like in an hour or something, but that's good to watch. They have really good data, really, really good data. So
Where's the link, Julie?
it's in our little message board. Hang on. I'm trying to get to. So if you sign in to Mighty Networks, like where you went from this event, so like this is our. Let's see.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Do you see it? Okay, it's just in our, I think it's down here somewhere. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, just register for that and they'll send you the recording so that you can go back. I always do that because I like watching it faster than what it's presented in real time. I don't have a lot of time to watch a bazillion webinars.
Right.
All right. Well, other than that, have a good Tuesday. And later this month, please come back for that interview with Carrie Shumway. It's going to be so good. So good. And I'm going to post about that later. So, all right. Thanks for
Thank you,
coming.
Julie. Have a good
Hey.
day.
You
See ya.
too. Bye.
Bye.